G'day and welcome back to Deere Farms with me, Farmer Jay. I apologize for the fact that my weekly mod review didn't get put out on the weekend. I had it all set to go, and then I had an idea that I was going to do a Top Mods of January review instead of my weekly mod review. But then I realized that there were so many mods that came out in the last week of January that if I didn't do a weekly mod review, I would be missing some because they're very good, but they're not going to make the best of January list. So stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, enjoy this week's mod review and stay tuned to the end of the video because I have some news from Giants that you might find interesting. Now, I do put out, as I said, weekly mod reviews, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and have notifications turned on so you're notified when new mod reviews come out each week. So let's kick off with the vehicles and equipment, and then we will look at some of the other items that came out this week. Let's start with the Amazon Pantera 4502. This has been in many versions of the game and keeps getting updated and re-released. And as you can see, it still looks really good. Let's take a look at it in the store. So the base price is $245,000. If you ever have this problem where you go to select a mod and you don't have any configurations, just go back out and double click on the mod. Key facts, and I'm going to try and go through these mods fairly quickly as there just are so many. It holds 4,500 liters of spray, either herbicide or liquid fertilizer, weighs 10 tons, has a working width of 41 meters, which is pretty good, and a working speed of 9 miles an hour. Comes with 3 different tire options, either narrow tires 3, narrow tires 2, and back to narrow tires. To me, this one looks like standard tires, where these are definitely row crop tires. So that's the Amazon Pantera. Next up, we have the John Deere T-Series Combine. I believe this one was in the last game. I'm not sure. Let me check and see if it's in this game too. And yes, it got included in this game. So this is an upgraded version. And I'll show you why I say it's upgraded in a few minutes. This is part of a pack, and it does come with 2 headers. It comes with the 630X, which is a 9.2 meter header, and it comes with a 10.7 meter header, the 6530X, ranging from $60,000 to $70,000. The actual model itself comes with a 10,000 liter hopper. I'm not sure how many bushels that is. I'll have to do the math on that. 800 liters of diesel, weighs 14 tons, and has a base price, this model, of $263,500. Now you can change it. This is a T550. The T560 is the one that's included in the game. And it's got a 660 as well. 670. So as you can see, the engine horsepower goes all the way up to 455 horsepower. It's one of the main differences between the base model. Now you can select the usual wheel brands. You can select between standard, crawler track basic, wide tires, and back to standard tires. Neat feature about this model is it has a straw distribution width. I guess for the chopper, depending on the header you have, I'd put it at, well, if I got the big header, I'd definitely put it at 10 meters. And the pipe is 6.5 meter foldable or 6.5 meters. Or 5.6 meters. 5.2 and 6.5. Okay, so there are more options than I thought there were. I'm guessing if you've got the bigger header, you will need the largest pipe possible. So, much like the other John Deere combines that have been re-released or released by Sid Modding, this one is not by Sid, but this is definitely worth a look at downloading, as you do come with quite a few different options. Anyone who's familiar with Farming Simulator 19 recognizes the Lizard Bear 4x4 ATV. Let's take a look at it in the shop, and it does come with a couple of different options. Alright, so the standard color is gray, not olive drab like I have it. It travels at 60 miles an hour, and it has a couple of different design options. I like this one because you can actually put stuff on it and strap it down. It comes with hand protectors as well as the supports, or just hand protectors. A side hitch, a rear hitch, and just standard, and the wheel setup. You've got a couple of different options here. I like the standard myself. Wheel Model 2, I'm not sure what happened to Wheel Model 1. And like I said, you've got quite a few different color options for it. Next up, we have the Case Puma series. I am so glad this is back in the game from a modder. I hope Giants would have included it. But this kind of rounds out the Case series tractors. It's a medium tractor, base price of $188,000. You've got a couple of different wheel options. We'll start with that this time. Wheel weights, I like the wheel weights. Wide tires with weights. Rear twin wheels, all-round twin wheels, narrow tires, and back to standard. It comes with a front loader attacher, which is either Quickie or Hauer, and its engine setup goes all the way up to 270 horsepower. So I'm hard pressed to choose. Like I said, I bleed green, but I do like the Puma, and it, while 30 horsepower shy of the maximum of the 6R series, it definitely gives it a run for its money, in my opinion. Now, speaking of front loaders and front loader attaches, we have the Hauer grabber pack, which is designed, either it's got two different styles of bale pickers or bale lifters. It's got one that's for your tractor, and you can change the color between orange and black. This one orange and black as well. But it's got a couple of different attacher options. It's got a 3-point attacher and a Euro attacher. So you could have this one on the back of the tractor and the other one on the front of the tractor. It also comes with 2 different types of log grabbers. And this one definitely looks more aggressive than the other one. Obviously, there is no capacity difference to them because they're designed to grab logs. But that is the Hauer Grabber Pack, and that kind of nice because it teams up nicely with the Hauer front-end loaders. Next up from Giants is the New Holland Discbine 313, and I'm glad that Giants put this back in the game because, well, tell you in a minute when we look at the John Deere harvester over there. It's only got a 4-meter working width, but it is a true haybine or discbine, as you can see by the roller blades on the back. If you watched my video on the Krone Big M, you will know the difference between a mower conditioner, which is essentially what this is. Those roller bars condition the grass by cracking it so the moisture can either be drawn out in the sun if you're making hay, or it'll be drawn out quicker if you're making silage and increase the fermentation rate of the silage. If you're into smaller farms, this is definitely something you should have. We had one of those on the farm. And we'll take a quick look at it in the store. It's $20,500 to buy. There are no real options to it. It requires a 90 horsepower tractor. And as I said, it only has a 4-meter working width, but it travels at 13 miles an hour. So it's going to take a little bit longer than the front-rear combo set. But as I said, if you're into older equipment and you want a smaller farm because you're role-playing, this is definitely something you should have in there. I will be using that when more old-fashioned equipment comes out. And I am going to do a series based on a small dairy farm as opposed to the large one like I have on Elm Creek. Now, speaking of retro, I don't want to call it older. I guess retro or older equipment. We have the John Deere 64 series tractor, and we have the John Deere 3765 forage harvester. Let's take a quick look at those in the store. It's $30,000 for the forage harvester. It's too bad the modder didn't include a single row corn header for this, because we had very similar model to this one on the farm, and we'd switch between either the grass pickup system for silage or between the corn header if we were making corn silage. It requires 130 horsepower to pull, and it's got a working width of 2.4 meters. Let's look at the John Deere 6300 series tractors. The base difference between the two is the cab type. You can change the amount of weight on the front of it. The engine 6405 or 6300, so it's 105 horsepower or 100 horsepower. It only travels at 19 miles an hour. And the wheel setup is either 4-wheel drive with a couple of different options for the four-wheel drive, or round tires. Model we had round tires on it. And we also had, which is nice that this got included, we had the exhaust flap on it. We didn't have a fancy muffler system, so it was kind of loud because that's basically a straight pipe and doesn't do a hell of a lot for muffling. Trust me. So this is just basically a safety cab, whereas the other version comes with a full cab with windows. That is essentially the difference between the two models. Next up, we have the Landini 6T41 175. I haven't actually been in this model yet. Oh, did I just... Let me get out. Yep, that seat or something moves when you get in. Anyway, I caught movement to the left. Very nice, very detailed cab. But for Landini fans, this is definitely a welcome addition to the family. You can either have a front linkage or 3-point system, or weights at the front. You've got all the standard, well, not all, but most. Oh no, we do have Michelin. Okay, tire setups. Wide tires, wide tire with weights, narrow tires, rear twin wheels, all-round twin wheels. You can have fenders or no fenders on this model. And the horsepower ranges from 143 to 176. So very similar to the case we just looked at. Colors. There are a couple of different color options. Blue chrome, blue metallic, blue restyling, or just the standard Landini blue. I think I prefer the standard Landini blue. You can change the rim color between gray and black. Travels at 31 miles an hour and has 270 liters of diesel and 38 liters of DEF. Equipped at the maximum horsepower rating, this will set you back $143,950, making it a fairly economical tractor. Alright, before we look at Sid Modding's John Deere pack, and I believe, let's look at the chicken trailer. We have a standard cattle trailer or animal trailer in the game by Silverstar. This one has been modded. There we go, chicken transport trailers. So the Wilson Silverstar, it can be back. Try that again. There we go. You can change the colors, but it is designed for, there's no different tire options, I'm afraid, but they've modeled it out so that you can transport chickens with it. It does say, come on, that it can also hold 12 cows, 36 pigs, or 38 pieces. I don't know why that bothers me, sorry, when people don't take the time to actually fill it in. They just put pieces, or maybe there's a language problem, forgive me. But you should be able to customize okay, I guess nope. I guess the modder didn't take the time to update his description file to say how many chickens instead of how many animals it is, but I believe it's over 100 chickens. And this one, I have tried them and they will transport chickens. I guess it's just, I never even looked at the descriptions before. They, yeah, like I said, they left it at two horses instead of the chickens. Anyway, very useful because it now gives us the option to transport chickens, which is something a lot of people have been asking for. This is, unfortunately, I believe this one is PC only because it's a script mod. And this is the Fiegel Autoload trailer set for lumber. It comes with a 12 meter, a 15 meter autoload, or a 20 meter autoload. Configuration is you can either have a trailer hitch or not on the back, so you can link a couple of them together. Wheel brands, you've got Trelleborg, Continental, that's it. Silver, white, and black rim colors. It weighs 8.3 tons, unloaded. What did I... Oh, all I changed was the wheel brand, and that's why the price went up. Anyway, it's $39,000 for the base model, up to $55,000 for the long model. Now, if you're using... Where are they? Pieces of forestry equipment. One of these. Tree cutters. The maximum length is 8 meters. So you probably want to turn it down to 6 meters for... the 12 meter, because the 2 times 6 is 12, and it'll put 6 meters at the front and 6 meters at the back, giving you a total of 12 meters. Anyway, quick look. I'm not huge into forestry because I don't have a decent joystick. Mine's on its last legs, and using forestry equipment without a decent joystick is terrible. Alright, here we have Sid Modding's John Deere 8R pack, and this is the 8RX, and it has the exact rate tanks attached to it. Exact rate tanks are designed to hook up to this planter and supply it with extra liquid fertilizer. You load them or unload them by pressing Q. As usual, Sid has done a very good job of modeling the interior. You guys might remember this model from Farming Simulator 19, where he introduced the 2020 series instead of the just plain 8R series. Let's take a look at the planter first. The planter is made by JAHHG Modding. That's always a mouthful to say. It has a... Let's go and take a look at it. So it's got, let's call it an 18 meter working width. Travels at 9 miles an hour. Requires 340 horsepower to pull it. And holds 6,852 liters of seed and fertilizer. You can add a GPS unit to it or not. And as you can see down here, by changing it to factory mounted set for liquid fertilizer, you can change it to yes or no. No means it'll just use the liquid fertilizer that's in the seeder. Yes will take it from the integrated exact rate 8RX tanks. You saw those attached to the 8RX in game, and that gives you almost an additional 4,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. Now, here is Sid's John Deere 8R series tractor set. The 8RX is the one we just took a look at. It has a base price of $351. I'm not going to go through all the engine one second. Sorry about that. There was just somebody at the door. Trying to sell something, of course. Alright, as I was saying, I won't go through all the engine setups on all the tractors because John Deere has standardized them now with the 2020 series. So all of the 8 series now have the same engine setups, ranging from the 310 at 357 horsepower up to the 410 at 458 horsepower. This one travels at 24 miles an hour. You do have to select at the top here whether you want it for the exact rate or not. And you can choose between heavy duty or row crop tracks or back to the standard. I like the fact that Sid's included extra lights in this. You can either have a 3-point attacher at the front, or you can have a variety of different weights. You can also switch between the track setup of EU and US. There we go. So that is the 8RX very quickly. The 8RT, I don't know why my game keeps doing this. I think I might have too many mods installed. Again, you have an option. There is no 3-point linkage on the 8RT, but you have a variety of different weights. You can have a triangle again, a safety triangle. These are mandatory in North America. Switch design between EU and US is really the main difference is the way the steps come out. And the warning bars at the back. Engine setup, as I said, 310 to 410. And track setup, you got 3 meters, 3 meter 2, 3 meter, 2.6. I like these ones because they're nice and chunky, but they're not exactly row crop friendly. And then finally we have the 8R series. Let's start at the bottom on this one. This one does have a lower engine starting point, but it will go all the way up to the 8R410. Front configuration is the same. You can either have a 3-point attacher or a variety of different weights. Fenders, yes or no, and you can change the different types of fenders you want. Of course, you want your safety triangle, and the design, well, you can have is US. Wheel options, you've got the 30-inch row crop. Hubs, I guess it's Well, in case you can't actually physically do it in game, but people take off their extra dual tires and put them back on depending on the season. Okay, there we go. As you can see, the dual row crops fit exactly to that hub. And there we are, back to standard tires. Standard tires with wheel weights. Wheel weights 2, this is my favorite one. They just look more aggressive. And then you've got wide tires. I also like wide tires, they're very chunky. And then we have standard real duals. And back to the row crops. Anyway, that's a quick look at Sid's. I really do like his work because it gives you so many options. As you can see, the Giants version has same engine ratings, but you can only really customize the EU versus US. But it doesn't give you, as you can see, nearly as many tire options or other options that Sid's models do. All right, here we have the Micheletto animal trailers, one with 2 floors and one with 3 floors. The main difference is how much they can carry. 2 floors, you can carry 32 cows, 60 hogs. Okay, this has got to be lost in translation. Or 60 sheep. Whereas the 3 floor, you can only carry pigs or sheep. Obviously because they don't stand as tall as cows. Alright, looking at the Giants model of the Wilson Silver Star. And it looks like this habit of just calling them pieces as opposed to either animals or cows started with Giants, and people have just copied the XML file over. Hey, boy. Last up in vehicles and equipment, we have the John Deere 7600 large chassis and the 7700 large chassis tractors. Engine setup ranges from 210 to 280 horsepower. You can either have a front linkage system on the front. Does it have a PTO? Yep, it looks like it does. Or you can have different weight packages. Wheel setups, narrow tires, standard wheel weights, wide tires with weights. So the usual. GPS receiver. I don't know how many farmers are buying tractors these days without GPS receivers. If I was still farming, I would definitely spend, well, it's a little bit more than $1,500, but I would definitely spend the money on the GPS. You can change the fenders, standard or wide, and the same with the front fenders. And you can change, I don't know how real that is, but that just doesn't look Massey to me. Massey has always been red in my books. But you do have a couple of different options for design colors. Okay, that's it for vehicles. Alright, let's look at buildings and structures. And then we will look at the 3 most interesting items, unfortunately, which are all PC only, so I do apologize for that. So we have a small liquid tank by, I believe this one is Missy B. It will hold the silo extensions is done this. Oh, where is it? Silos? No. Containers. There, that's it. 60,000 liters, and it has no option to fill, so you have to buy the product, liquid fertilizer or herbicide, elsewhere, and then transport it over and dump it into the tank. Here's the good one. This is a honey pallet storing location. It is found under bees. So animals, bees, Beehive honey pallet location. So this acts as the honey pallet trigger, which you're familiar with if you have done bees in the game. But it will allow you to store honey pallets at this location. You drop them off, and then you pick them up. So what's nice is once the pallets are inside, they're not taking up memory in the game the same way as loose pallets are, because they don't have to be rendered. It becomes a number, which is a lot easier for machines to compute. Now, besides the honey pallet storage location, we also have, and I can't unfortunately place this without deleting the other one, but we have a couple of different options for honey pallets. You can have a storage trigger that holds 4, 8, 6, and that's 6 by 1, so it's only one height. The 8 is 4 by 2. 12 is 6 across, so 3, 3, and then 3 and 3 on top, all the way up to 24 honey pallets. I installed this, and I've been playing with this on my Let's Play map, my own personal map. And I don't know if it's because I think the Giants one is bugged. I did file a bug report because I have multiple beehives, and I had been placing them to try and increase my honey production to keep up with the cereal factory, and haven't been able to. And then I installed one of these. I forget which one exactly I installed, but my honey production went through the roof and was in line with the number of beehives I have. Bug report filed with Giants. Finally, as far as actual buildings themselves go that are noteworthy or worthwhile, and I thought I'd take a look at this one, and I downloaded it, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. It is found under Productions, as is your honey pallet location. But production, you'll see the recipe for seeds is you need 20 of each type of seed to produce 100 liters of seed. Fair enough. I mean, the math makes sense. 20 times 5 is 100. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange. But if you've ever watched Welker Farms, you'll see they make their own seed. And again, 1-for-1 ratio, but it's per seed type. So what would be nice would be to be able to have, with this one, you put in 100 liters of wheat and you get out 100 liters of, well, the game doesn't account for it, but wheat seed. So if they'd made it either or, kind of like the bread factory where you put in 100 liters of wheat, barley, sorghum, and it just produces flour instead of wheat flour, sorghum flour, barley flour, that sort of thing. If that makes sense. While I have the productions menu open, another mod is the buy production chains mod. And what it allows you to do is buy product that's missing from your production chain. So, for example, you have the dairy, but this map does not come with a sugar factory. Let's quickly buy the dairy. So we now own the dairy. Obviously, I don't have cattle on this farm. But to produce chocolate, you need sugar. And that means you need to set up and purchase a sugar factory. So assuming we had milk, which comes from our cows, and there we go. So we've got a little bit of milk in there. But we're missing material for chocolate, so we can just go ahead and we can buy the sugar needed for the chocolate production. And we have our factory producing chocolate. Mixed feelings about that mod because yeah, I went ahead and I purchased the sugarcane factory, or the sugar factory. I grew my sugarcane, and then I fed the production to the dairy. But I guess in real life, a dairy buys the milk from the farmer, and then it would buy the sugar from somewhere else. Yeah, so I'm kind of torn as to how realistic this is, or how much I would use it, because I do try and play as realistically as possible. Two other script mods, and you can't really see this one, but it is the enhanced lighting mod, which basically doubles the brightness of your headlights at nighttime. If you've tried to do any farming at nighttime in Farming Simulator 22, it is kind of hard to see far away. So that is very handy. The final mod we're going to look at is buy lime production. Let's open up a help menu. And, sorry, not buy lime production. Lime for auger wagons. Now, I use this mod all the time in Farming Simulator 19 because, as you know, lime spreaders go through lime very quickly. What this allows you to do is fill up an auger wagon with lime, and then you can have it sitting beside the field ready to go fill up your lime spreader when it gets emptied. Fantastic mod. Now, for those of you that sat through this video and watched it all, I told you, speaking of mods, there is some news. Oh, and I wanted to show you one more thing. We'll go back here. I found a bug, and I've already reported it with the John Deere 3765. But anyway, to get to the point, speaking of bugs, Steggy, I've mentioned him a couple of times in previous videos. Chief Technical Officer at Giants mentioned a couple of days, well, last week I think it was, that we can expect a patch in the next week or two. So patch 3.3 hopefully will fix a lot of the outstanding bugs that people are having. For example, the one I reported is, well, I reported several, but one example is the sugarcane technology. This beast here does not harvest sugarcane. Well, it does, but it harvests it at a very reduced rate. So instead of harvesting 2 rows at a time, I was forced to bring in my sugarcane harvest using the single row tow behind sugarcane harvester. Now, usually when Giants releases a patch around this time of year is when they release their first DLC. So if you look on the Giants website, it's the first DLC promised, which is more vehicles for your farm, was promised in the fall/winter 21-22. We are now almost at the end of winter 2021-22. So I will bet you a McDonald's breakfast, yuck, that we are going to see the first DLC add-on come out around the same time as the patch. I'm guessing they are going to release it to sometime between mid to the end of February. Anyway, like I told you, I apologize for the length of this video. This was why I told you I was going to actually break it down into 2 videos, because there was a lot to see and do, and there were a lot of mods I didn't cover because I just didn't feel like they were worth it. Like I've said before, there's only so many 3 meter or 4 meter implements that I need in the game. So, thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please remember to like and subscribe. A like never hurt anyone, and it really does help the channel out. Take care, Jay.